What's really the truth going on with Palestine and Israel? Because there's a lot of things that just don't make sense. Let's start with the first thing of how, for once, we actually can't really see who the mainstream media supports. Are they for Israel or are they for Palestine? I don't know.
A few days now, I still haven't weighed in on Israel-Palestine. I honestly don't know who to post. Usually it's easy.
That's the interesting thing, because when it came to the VAX, you know where they stood. When it came to boosters, you know where they stood. When it came to Russia and Ukraine, you know where they stood. When it came to the trans LGBTQ or whether you should have pro-life or pro-choice, you know where they stood. When it came to January 6th, you know where they stood. Whether you should wear a mask or not, you know where they should. But for some reason, when it comes to Israel and Palestine, there's this kind of blurry line of where am I supposed to stand? Now, let me say, before this video goes any further, that death is very tragic. And some of the stories that I've heard coming out of this whole entire thing are extremely sad. But when you have two sides battling against each other, maybe some are right and some are wrong, you have innocent casualties in the midst of it that didn't do anything wrong. And I think that that's where this video should go now as well, because that's the interesting thing. Because once again, we have a battle. Israel versus Palestine, Russia versus Ukraine, red versus blue, BLM versus non-BLM. Oh yeah, that's another one. You know where they stood. What's really the truth going on with Palestine and Israel? They're always trying to create sides. They're always trying to get you to be on a certain team. But who is they? Who is they that want to get you on a specific team so that you fight each other to the death and destroy everything around you and crush the economy and make all the prices go up and make disaster happen across the board? Who is they? I got to be careful of who I say they is out here in today's freedom of speech world. But they would really benefit if the United States was not as strong as it has been in decades in the past. I'll say that much. Which makes you think, we're having to funnel in all this money to Russia and Ukraine, which is just destroying the dollar here in the U.S., which is causing inflation, which is causing all the prices to go up, which is causing the interest rates to go up, which is causing all the mess of things that happen. And then all of a sudden, we lose the Speaker of the House. There's no more money going to Ukraine, and then a couple days later, this happens, so now we have to send money over there? So there's your second indicator of, like, something's not right. And then your third indicator is there's a lot of people on the internet talking about right now of how top level that the Israeli defense is, and how the way that this happened is just, like, crazy, of how it was never detected. Like, was someone told to stand down? Like, how did all this happen?
I've been to Israel many times. The whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe.
How did all this happen and they weren't able to stop it? Those are three major things that really make you go, I don't know. What are your thoughts? My thought is just like I've been saying for the last several years, is that the one world GOVT is what the primary agenda is. And the only way that you could do that is if you have everybody else weak so that they go into it automatically. And I think this whole entire thing that's going on is all for the purposes of feeding that specific agenda.